Today we're going to be talking about evaluating expressions, and if you notice, the root word of evaluate is value. So when you evaluate an expression, you find the value. You will take the variables, you will substitute, that means you take the number for the variable and you put it in its variable's place. You will substitute the value, and then you will use PEMDAS, whose real name is order of operations, to solve it. And you'll probably notice I don't have my camera on. I was trying to see if that was going to be what fixed how my computer's doing this weird thing where it's putting all my letters together, but apparently it's not. So I'll have to go back and look at what the real problem is. But here's our first example. We need to evaluate, so find the value of b squared plus c when a equals 2, b equals 4, and c equals 7. So I'm going to go ahead to this, though, and tell you what the most important rule is. The most important rule when you're substituting is to put parentheses around the negative terms, because the number one mistake that we see people make with algebra, sorry, I should say negative numbers. The number one mistake we see is not that they don't know the algebra, but that they make mistakes with the negatives. So I have AB, that means A times B. So I'm going to put parentheses around almost all of my terms. It just makes it easier. So A is 2, and then B is 4, but it's got to be B squared plus C is 7. So I plugged in my 2, so that is 2 times 4 squared plus 7. Now I use order of operations. That says parentheses first, but there's nothing in my parentheses. So next is exponents. So my exponent here is 4 to the second power, which is 16, because 4 times 4 is 16. And then I'm still multiplying 2 times 16 plus 7. So next is multiplication. So I do 2 times 16, which is 32. And then 32 plus 7 is going to be 39. So we plug in our numbers and then we solve it using order of operations. So here's our next example. I have 3x squared minus 4x. And this time they're both x's and my x is going to equal 2. So I have 3. Remember, anytime you see your variable, it's easiest to put parentheses to put our number in. So 3 times negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2. Now, once again, I do order of operations, so exponent comes first. And we have to be careful here because when the negative is on the inside, that means negative 2 times negative 2, so that will turn into positive 4. So that will be 3 times 4 minus 4 times negative 2. And then I multiply 3 times 4 is 12. And negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. So we get 12 plus 8, which equals 20. Now we're going to do example 1 and 3, and you're going to do 2 and 4 on your own and check it with the Edpuzzle video. So example 1, I want to have a squared times b minus b squared. So a is 3, so that means I'm going to have 3 squared. And then b is negative 4 minus, I have another b, still negative 4 squared. So first I plugged my numbers in. I substituted my numbers in for my variables. And now I used order of operations. So there's nothing in the parentheses again. That's just showing that that's where my term is. So, or that's where my number is that I substituted. So I do 3 squared, which is 9. So that will be 9 times negative 4 minus, and I can right there do negative 4 squared because I can do my exponents at the same time. So negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Now I can multiply 9 times negative 4, which is negative 36. So I had negative 36. I don't really need those parentheses anymore. Negative 36 minus 16, they're both negative, so I will get a negative 52. Now try number 2 and check it with the Edpuzzle video. So you can check your work with mine on example 2, but also, I should have said earlier, you are allowed to use your calculator for this, but you can't just plug everything in your calculator. You will make mistakes. So you can use your calculator for the computations, but you should still show your work. Now, example 3, I have negative y squared minus 3xy when x equals negative 4 and y equals 2. So I need to keep that negative. So there's a negative outside the parentheses. And then my y is 2 squared minus 3 times my x is negative 4 times my y is 2. So we substituted all our values in, and now we're ready to solve it. So exponents first. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. So I will have negative 4 minus, this is all multiplication, so I'm not going to work any of it out in this step. Now right here, that's a negative 4 because it's minus on the outside, so that puts the negative back on. It's the same thing as negative 1 times 4, which is negative 4. So I have negative 4, and then I can go ahead and multiply those. A negative 3 times a negative 4 is a positive 12, and then I still have times 2. So now I am multiplying right here. So I have negative 4 plus 12 times 2 is 24. Then I have negative 4 plus 24, which is positive 20. Now try example 4 and check it with the Edpuzzle video. So check your work with number 4, and then you are going to be ready to go to Khan Academy to practice.